It's the Ross Tucker Football Podcast.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It's a teaching tutorial Thursday presented by DraftKings, America's #1 rated sportsbook app. I am Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, bunch of teams. Now I got a bunch of podcasts, all of which are 30 minutes of on-demand audio or video for those of you that check us out now on YouTube. 3 times a week here on the Ross Tucker Football Podcast in the offseason, daily during the season. You don't need to listen or watch anything else. You can just listen or watch this, and I promise I will keep you up to date on everything you need to know going on around the NFL. Loved going over Joe Dolan's quarterback and tight end rookie fantasy rankings yesterday on the Fantasy Feast podcast. Check that out. Of course, Greg Cosell and Andrew Brandt were awesome earlier in the week. As I hinted today, we've got Micah Parsons, the #1 pick for the Dallas Cowboys, number 12 overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, former Penn State linebacker and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania resident, which is where I reside as well. So cool to see how much his selection means to so many people around here. And like all of them, I am very much rooting for Micah and really looking forward to talking with him momentarily. But first, we've got some winners. Every week, I love to give people these signed pictures, these signed football cards. You want signed press pass. I'm showing a Jags-Eagles press pass I didn't even know I had. Some of these things are absolutely awesome. I still have the AFC Championship game one if you want that. That'd be especially good for you Chiefs fans. There's 3 ways you can win it, including spread the word via social media, taking advantage of a sponsor, or subscribing and commenting on the YouTube page. It's the last show of the week, though. So we got to give them out. Let's get out some winners.
I want winners. I want people that want to win.
Micah Parsons wants to win. I want to win. Victor Tosi wants to win. Victor Tosi liked a post by @RossTuckerPod on Instagram. And now he gets whatever he wants. A signed picture, signed card, signed press pass. Victor, just email me, ross@rosstucker.com. Let me know. You just won the easiest contest in America. Chad Roberts, one of several of you guys that took advantage of the code football over at 1-800-Flowers.com. Kudos to you, Chad. That is a Mother's Day no-brainer. And then the YouTube shout-out winner, Petrus Penke. Petrus made a couple comments on one of the Greg Cosell episodes, either Friday or Monday, around the draft. So congratulations, Petrus. It's Big Show time.
The Big Show.
So excited to welcome in the newest member of the Dallas Cowboys, first-round pick, number 12 overall, a guy I first saw in 9th grade. I don't even know if he knows this story. Micah Parsons from right here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Micah, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Anytime. I appreciate you for having me on the show.
So I don't know if I ever told you this story, but I live here in Harrisburg now. I live in Paxtonia, so CD school district where you went for a few years, but I'm from Reading. So your freshman year, I went to the Wilson CD game just because I'm from Reading, and you were killing people. And I texted Andy Frank at Penn State, who's like the director of personnel, and I said, CD's got a 9th grader who's unbelievable. And I think the next week they came into school to check you out. And the week after that, you had a scholarship offer to Penn State after your 4th game. Did I ever tell you that? Anybody ever tell you that story?
No one's ever told me that.
Yeah, it's funny, man. I mean, I knew right away that you were a very, very special player. And I know you remember when I came over to CD camp your junior year. Do you remember what I said to you?
Yeah, you said if I stayed out of trouble, I get to do a lot of great things.
I said if you did the right things for the next 5 years, you would change your life. Guess what it is, bro? It's 5 years. You did, dude. That was before your junior year of high school. So you had 2 more years of high school, 3 years after that, and here you are, man. By the way, I've already had a couple of people text me. Where do I get one of those Harrisburg versus the world hoodies, man? That is awesome.
Yeah, those shits hurts me. I can't even lie. I got them from Music Man. Right there. It's right there. It's off of Market Street near the Domino's and the CVS. I can't even think of the street right now. It's like right in the corner though.
Got it. What's it called?
Music Man.
Music Man. That is, dude, first of all, the sweatshirt's awesome. Secondly, you're on the Cowboys private plane. You're flying to Dallas, and that was what you put on. Like, explain why Harrisburg means so much to you and why you take it so seriously to rep where you're from.
Harrisburg means so much to me because this is where I'm from. I feel like Harrisburg made me. All my childhood and my adulthood, Harrisburg is all I know. So, it like formed me in a lot of ways, like my family, my friends, the city, and the way they just like gravitated towards me and supported me throughout my process. When I needed to travel somewhere, my mom sold dinners and people bought dinners to support me to travel to tournaments and wrestling tournaments and football events. So, Harrisburg was a key part of my success, how they showed support and believed in my talents. And, during when I was in high school, when I transferred to Harrisburg, how it was just so much support. And I just saw like the city like gravitate towards each other. And, it's important to rep because people got to know where you come from. Harrisburg's a small city. Not a lot of people make it out of here. A bunch of talent, but a lot of it goes to waste. So I want people to know that, like, there's talent here too, and there's more people like me or similar to me, and that we could do better things in this world.
Yeah, man, that I know how much you mean to so many people around here, which is first of all why I'm glad you ended up going to Penn State because that helped people be able to follow you and look up to you. And then you went to Penn State and you graduated in 3 years.
Yep.
Why was that so important to you?
Because people always think it's just about football. Like, I felt like a lot of times people like, well, he's talented, but he never really will get the school thing. He's not smart enough. I don't think he can do both. So my goal was like, okay, well, I can do both. So I was like, I got to get my degree before I leave. And that's exactly what I did because it's really not just about football. It's bigger than football. And now I could change, the generational curse of, my family not getting degrees in college and leave that hope onto my son.
That is awesome, man. One of the things that bothered me, knowing you a little bit, I don't know you well. I mean, I talked to you before junior year. I called the U.S. Army Bowl when you were in it. But one of the things that bothered me was everything I would read or hear before the draft, it was off-field concerns, character issues. And I know Coach Mack at CD. I know Coach Everett. The Penn State guys swear by you. Like Andy Frank, anybody at Penn State, they said all he ever did was everything we asked him to do. That's your rep, man. That's your name. How much did it bother you that people were saying that, or did you understand because of the one or two incidents that that's just how it was going to be?
It was a little bit of both. I understand that, when you're under a light and you got these teams trying to invest in you, there's always going to be things that people try to scrape up together to say anything that try to deny your worth and of who you really are. And I try not to feed into it too much. I see it, but I'm like, these GMs and coaches are going to do their due diligence. They're going to find out the truth, and that's why I really wasn't scared because I know what type of person and team player I was. And how much I was involved in Penn State's program, Harrisburg's program, trying to get players there, trying to develop a winning culture. So I never really thought like it would hurt me too much. And those two incidents, once they did their due diligence and I was cleared of what I was accused of, it made a lot of things easier. But, from the outside in, you got scouts and you got random fans who the scouts are feeding to look into the trash they put online just for clickbait. So it's just like whatever. You get used to it, though.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know you that well, but it bothered me. I can't imagine what it's like for people that, like your mom and dad or the people that really know you and have been around you all the time. Someone was saying stuff like that about, I got two little girls. There's something saying about that, especially, I mean, I won't get into it, but like, I know for a fact some of the other guys in the draft did stuff that's way worse than what they said you did. And it just, nobody ever finds out about it. So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm enough with that. I want to get into did you really grow up a Cowboys fan? I didn't know that till I read that recently.
Yeah, so my mom and my brother, I mean my dad and my brother are huge Cowboys fans. I was a Cowboys fan growing up, and then we went on a bad streak, and I kind of like bandwagon. And I was like, I bandwagon to like, cause I like fell in love with like Cam Newton growing up. So I was like, I'm a Panthers fan, and then I switched over to Tom Brady. But like my true original team was the Cowboys, and I'm gonna say that publicly.
Oh man, that is funny. Well, I'm telling you, man, like I can remember Micah. It was my second year in the league. I started the last 7 games for the Cowboys at left guard. And I'll never forget going to the team hotel, and it was packed. I mean, there were people everywhere, and they were treating us like rock stars. And we were 5-11 that year, and they treated us like we were Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders. And I'm sitting there thinking, do they know we stink? like it is, you won't really know any different unless you ever play for another team. I played for 5 teams. You can see all the helmets behind me. Like, you won't know that every team's not like that because your first team's going to be the Cowboys.
Yeah, and then like it's kind of like a great situation for me because Penn State's similar like that. Like Penn State are all diehards. Like we're going 100,000 every time. So I'm glad I'm going into an environment like Dallas.
What do you know about being a Cowboy? I mean, I know what I just said to you, but has anybody else told you anything similar, just how different it is when you're a
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboy?
Michael Irvin, when I got on the phone, he's like, "You don't know what that means yet, but you go find out, boy. It's different in Dallas. Once you're a Cowboy, you're always a Cowboy." He started laughing. He's like, "I can't tell you all the secrets. That's good. We can't do it over Zoom, but trust and believe, when we sit down, I'm gonna tell you about Dallas." It just had me a little shook up, and Jalen said it was different too. So, and I was out with Jalen when I went down for my media day. So,
Got it. Well, I'm glad you brought up Jalen because one of the things I think a lot of people are interested in is I know Sean Lee retired. By the way, I love Sean Lee. If you can find a way to spend time with that guy, man, he's one of my favorite Penn State guys to watch ever. But they got Van Der Esch and they have Jalen Smith, right? So a lot of people were like, where are they going to use Micah? How are they going to use Micah? What do you understand about that? How do you think they're going to use you?
as of I know right now, they're going to start me off at like Mike Will position and work me in at those 2 positions. DQ's going to try to run a base 3-4. So I don't know how everybody's going to fit yet, but that's kind of where they want me to work in and learn where to play right now. And so that's what I'm excited about. And, using me on a lot of different blitz and stunt schemes from the inside interior pass rush because that's what they saw on film. So it's going to be exciting.
Did you say DQ's running a base 3-4 or 4-3?
He's running a 3-4.
God, okay. I didn't know that. So that's the other thing I tell people about you, man. Whether it was in high school at CD in Harrisburg, but then as well at the U.S. Army Bowl, I think you're about as good of a high school pass rusher off the edge as I've seen. I kind of thought you'd end up being a D end. I was surprised when Penn State moved you to linebacker. I thought you were going to be a D end all the way. I almost feel like they could have used you more as a pass rusher at Penn State. That in the bowl game they used you as a blitzer, but I feel like there's still a lot of untapped potential there as a pass rusher, whether it's off the edge or as a blitzer, that people don't really know what you have.
I was just saying this the other day, and I was saying I never played a true position my whole life. Like all growing up, I was a running back, linebacker, and then when I got to high school, someone gave me the option to either play JV running back or defensive end. I was like, I want to play JV running back. You know? It's crazy how my journey works out. And then, like, my friend ended up getting hurt. And then I ended up starting and, like, took off from there. Like, so, like, it's just destiny. So I played DN for high school for 4 years. And then I switched to linebacker as soon as I got there. So I was like, guys, like, you know, people saying all these things, but people forget that was like my first 2 years of playing off-ball linebacker at like a legit level, like, you know. And the jumps from year 1 to year 2 was already like really good. So I was like, once I get in an organization where I can practice it for another year or 2 more years, oh, it's going to be ridiculous.
So I try to explain this to people, but it's a totally different world, and in your dirt, end of the line of scrimmage versus off the ball, sort of what you're seeing. And also, you got O linemen coming at you from every direction. You can get a wide receiver crack, the tight end. How tough was that for you to get used to? And how much growth do you think you have when you get to actually see it and get more reps as an off the ball backer?
Oh yeah, it's completely different because you got to look at your back, you got to look at your tight end, and you got to look at the lineman. You know, if you got your Y off or they running a fullback offset, you got to look at all those guys because you got to see pulls, you got to see Y off pulls, and you got to see back shoulders. Like, is he going Y flow? Is he coming straight for you on insert? And so it's a bunch of things you got to look at. So it's completely different. You know, your reads got to be so quick and decisive because of the lineman play, and they'll work up to the second level if you don't show in your gap in enough time. So, you know, you got a bunch of different things, and then you also got to watch out for pass. You got to watch for 2-1 exchanges on pass or 3-2 exchanges and motions and shifts and recounts on who's the blitzer, who's not the blitzer. So you can literally go from a cover 2 to a cover 3 in a matter of seconds. You know, you can go from cover 6 to cover 4. So, you know, a lot of people don't know those transitions and how smart you really got to be as a linebacker.
Yeah, there's no question. And I think the combo of you getting more time as an off-the-ball backer and you having more potential as a pass rusher, I'm not surprised that you are right now the favorite to be the rookie of the year in the NFL on the defensive side of the ball. I'm sure somebody else has mentioned it to you. I'm sure you've been asked about it. What do you think about being projected right now as the favorite to be the defensive rookie of the year?
It's cool, but it's going to be better when I go get it. You feel me? I'm going to have to go get it. It's cool. It'll taste better and look better when I actually got the award rather than just talk about it.
Is that a goal of yours?
Of course. And, you know, it's a goal to do other big things for Dallas and win games. You know, I feel like it's more, as long as I'm winning and I'm also producing, all that stuff's going to fall in line.
Well, Micah, I really appreciate the time. So happy for you. Very proud of you, knowing you for a while. And it's going to be fun. What are you wearing down there? You know what jersey you're wearing yet?
I'm trying to get this 11. I'm trying. It's going to look too hard if I get it. Ugh. I'm trying.
I love it. So, you know, I think I texted you this, but, you know, I played with LeVar my first 2 years in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually one time we got in a fight. Well, we got in a couple fights. But one time, Micah, he got my helmet off and swung it at me as hard as he could. Thank God he missed. But then when they broke up the fight, they pinned our arms down. You know, they pin your arms down, you can't move. Somehow LeVar got his right arm out, and he gave me a right hook right to the side of my head. I got 4 stitches up there in my ear, but I had been hitting him so hard in the helmet. So the whole rest of practice, Micah, my ear is gushing blood on my white Washington uniform. My O-line coach is mad at me because he felt like I got beat. I lost the fight because LeVar got that shot in. Meanwhile, my hand is killing me. And so after practice, I go in there. They x-ray my hand. They thought I broke my hand punching LeVar's helmet as hard as I could. And then the doctor's stitching my ear while they're giving me the hand x-ray. I'm 23. I call my girlfriend, who's my wife now. I'm like driving home to my apartment. I said, how was work, hon? And she's like, oh, I don't know. Jessica said this and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, how was your day? I'm like, Kind of a tough day at the office, actually. I thought I broke my hand. LeVar smoked me in the side of the head. I almost died when he hit me, when he tried to swing my helmet at me. But tell me more about Jessica and what she said at lunch.
Why
Crazy,
were you guys
man. Crazy.
fighting? Why were you guys fighting?
Because I knew I was on the bubble, so I was practicing really hard during the season, and he didn't like that. Like we're friends. You can bring it up to him. Like we laugh about it now, but he was mad because they moved him to the end on passing downs. I don't think he liked that. But I played bad against the Eagles on Monday night, so I kind of got benched, and I knew I was on the bubble, so I was practicing hard. I was practicing hard, and it's the middle of the season. So LeVar, he didn't want that, and I get it. And he said to me, like, Tuck, I'm telling you, Tuck, and I was like, LeVar, I got a lot of friends, bro. Like, I need this job. You do what you got to do. So he came. I'm playing right guard, Micah. He comes off the edge. I got to pop out for him. I knew before the play we were going to get in a fight. Like, I kick out, and as soon as I went to grab him, he just swung as hard as he could, and we just went it had been building for like a couple days. So anyway, I'm here. It's fun. Like, honestly, now it's just a great story. It's just an awesome story. As long as he didn't actually hit me with my helmet. Long way of saying, when you were number 11 at Penn State, it reminded me of LeVar a lot. And if you could be 11 with the Cowboys, I don't know if you got to pay the guys some money. I don't know what you got to do. But, dude, that would be sweet if you could be 11 for the Cowboys. You know how many jerseys you're going to sell, man?
Hey, if I get this 11, it'll be I can't even describe it. I'm working. They're working on it for me too. I think they grasped that too.
So when is what's next for you? When do you go? Do you know?
Yeah, I report next Tuesday.
Awesome, man. Well, enjoy your time in Harrisburg. Congrats on getting the key to the city earlier in the week, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, of course, Ross. Hit me up anytime.
That was awesome. I knew it would be. Really appreciate Micah for coming on the show. I know he's got a lot going on here in Pennsylvania before he heads back to Dallas. And as you could probably tell, we recorded that a couple days ago before Micah knew that he would get number 11. So that was Tuesday afternoon, actually. That's when it could work for Micah. And I guess yesterday the news came out he's officially getting jersey number 11. So you could tell that was important to him. I'm happy for him. I know what's important to you, the mothers in your life, whether it's your mother, your mother-in-law, your wife, your grandmother. Guys, this is the no-brainer of no-brainers. Just go to 100flowers.com. You can still do it. Even if you haven't gotten anything yet, you can still do it. Bouquets, plants, they even have gourmet treats, sweet surprises. Every mother in your life deserves, in my opinion, flowers for Mother's Day. They deserve it. They've brightened your life in so many different ways. Time to brighten a couple weeks of their life. Roses, lilies, it doesn't matter. And you can still get the order in. It's crazy. Mother's Day is this Sunday, and you can still get the order in today. To order last-minute Mother's Day bouquets, arrangements, and gifts, go to 100flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code football. That's 100flowers.com, code football. Saw my mother-in-law last night at our daughter's softball game. She already said thank you. My mom texted me, thank you. You spoil me. It's a no-brainer, guys. 100flowers.com, code football.
Tuck's Takes.
Morning, Ross. Well, since we just got done talking with Micah and the Cowboys, let's continue with the Cowboys. They have cut their starting defensive tackle, Antoine Woods.
So what I think is interesting about that, Bri, is I didn't realize the Cowboys are evidently running a base 3-4, like Micah said. I think most people thought that they'd be running a 4-3 because that's Dan Quinn's background. But according to Micah, they're going to be running a base 3-4. And so I think that in their mind, Antoine Woods perhaps doesn't really fit that anymore. They really only need one guy to be the nose tackle. I mean, they need DNs as well. But my guess is they don't think Antoine Woods fits that defense.
Tuck's Takes.
Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions cut former starting running back Kerryon Johnson.
So I haven't looked up. Kerryon Johnson's still on his rookie contract. And I'm assuming the Lions tried to trade him and they were not able to. I'm a little surprised nobody would give like a conditional 7th-round pick for Kerryon. I thought he did some positive things in the NFL. And then I don't know what Antoine Wood's salary was. They say it was a salary cap move. But again, I mean, he's a solid D tackle in the NFL. There are teams that still need a solid D tackle. Little surprised these teams aren't able to get conditional 7th-round picks, the highest honor that can be bestowed upon an NFL football player that yours truly once received. However, maybe these teams just know that they're going to cut them and they don't need to do it.
Tuck's Takes.
On the other side of the transaction spectrum, the Raiders signed former Chargers DB Casey Hayward.
You know, it's funny, Bri. Like, I knew Villanueva was still out there. I don't think I even realized Casey Hayward was still a free agent. Like, I need to go and check out the remaining available free agent list and just see who's still on that thing. And now Hayward's like 32 now, but if you're the Raiders, they've got some young corners. You need a vet that can show the young guys like Damon Arnett the ropes. I like that move by the Raiders.
Tuck's Takes.
And finally, more Aaron Rodgers news coming out, including him referring to Packers GM Brian Gutekunst as Jerry Krause with teammates, and the Packers believing the Niners and Broncos tampered with Rodgers.
So a couple things. On the Jerry Krause thing, that obviously became a big deal after the Michael Jordan documentary. I didn't really care. I thought that Jordan and those Bulls went a little bit too far with Jerry Krause. I mean, look, the guy's trying to do the best he can. You know, I mean, like he's trying to do the best he can for the owner, Jerry Reinsdorf. And by the way, you don't know how many times Jerry Krause did things that he didn't want to do, but it's what Reinsdorf told him to do. And Krause just had to be the fall guy or the bad guy. And by the way, if one thing I would mention Aaron Rodgers there is maybe win more than one Super Bowl before you start to say stuff like that. You know, Jordan had a little bit more clout, I'd say, winning 6 championships. As for the tampering, they can never prove that. I mean, that's a waste of time. You know what isn't a waste of time, Bri? Making sure you are comfortable when you sleep. And that is what you can do with Purple Mattress. So this grid technology, it doesn't trap air. The air actually circulates and flows through it, so you'll never overheat. One of my daughters is always hot. Getting her one of these Purple mattresses. Look, I just bought 2 Purple mattress pillows, and that's what I'm giving my wife for Mother's Day because she loves them. She needs a new one, and you're never hot. Like it's awesome, and it like contorts to your head. It's really, really cool. Purple, you can still probably get it for Mother's Day too, for your wife or whoever. Purple really is comfort for an uncomfortable world. Right now, you'll get 10% off any order of $200 or more. Go to purple.com/Ross10 and use promo code Ross10. That's purple.com/Ross10. Promo code Ross10 for 10% off any order of $200 or more. Purple.com/Ross10. Promo code Ross10. Terms apply. Let's get to an email, Bri.
Ever wanted to ask an NFL player a question? Well, here's your chance. It's time to Ask Ross.
So the email address for me is always ross@rosstucker.com. Whether you've got an email question, a sponsor, maybe you want to sponsor the show, maybe you want me for an appearance, whatever it is, ross@rosstucker.com is where you hit me up. It's one of my favorite things that we do because I know a lot of people have never met an NFL player, a former NFL player, and they've always had a question they want to ask them. That's what I'm here for. Any question you've ever wanted to ask a current or former NFL guy, ask me. Go for it. ross@rosstucker.com. What do you got, Bri?
Today's question from Graham. Hey, Ross, just made a comment on YouTube, one of your YouTube videos with Greg breaking down the Super Bowl. I wrote a review on the podcast, even did a Facebook like on my wife's iPad, even though she wasn't looking. My question, why do some teams stick with zone coverage in critical situations over man coverage? The amount of times I've watched Tom Brady make first downs, keeping a drive alive, and then score.
There's a couple reasons for that, Graham. Number one, you want to change it up. If all you ever do is man coverage, there are certain route combinations, bunch sets, etc., things you can do that make it really hard to play man-to-man coverage. Picks, they call them rub routes, whatever. If they know it's man, there are things they can do to make it pretty easy to get a guy open. So, or at least at a minimum, difficult to play man-to-man against. The idea, the goal is as much as possible to have the quarterback not be able to identify whether it's zone or man before the snap, because that changes a lot if he knows whether or not it's zone or man and makes it a lot easier for him. That's number one. Number two, there are certain situations and certain defenses, they're better in zone coverage. Certain players are better in zone than they are in man. You can have a zone blitz where you bring pressure, but you still have a guy in coverage in every zone. By the way you drop the guys, every zone is still accounted for. So that's the answer, Graham, look, Seattle, they've run a lot of cover 3 over the years, and it was very successful for them. Back in the day, Tampa ran a lot of Tampa 2. It was very successful for them. So there are people that run a lot of zone and do very well with it. I know that some of our listeners who are patrons, patreon.com/RTmedia, do very well by being, I think we're done here, members of patreon.com. Pizza Boy Brewing, Sporticulture, Vision Comics with an X, Human Head, NYC.com. Remember to check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, College Draft, and of course, thought Andrew Brandt was excellent on the Business of Sports this week, diving really deep into the Aaron Rodgers situation. Other than that, have a great weekend, everybody. I have a surprise guest on Monday. Looking forward to it. I think we're done here.
Thanks for listening to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also subscribe to the Fantasy Feast, Even Money, Business of Sports, and College Draft. All available at Apple Podcasts, RossTucker.com, or wherever podcasts can be found.
A lot of times on the show, I mentioned DraftKings. Here's what you need to know. You got to be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. By the way, if what I was talking about included a deposit bonus, doesn't always, sometimes it does. Deposit bonus requires 25 times playthrough, and deposit bonuses are paid out in site credit.